Most people would walk right past this penny without a second glance. Yet a small detail on this ordinary-looking coin has made collectors stop, stare, and sometimes pay surprising amounts of money for it. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1973 Lincoln penny, a coin that looks common, feels familiar, but hides a history and a potential value that might just change how you look at your spare change forever. The 1973 Lincoln penny is a 1-cent coin struck in the United States and marked with a small letter D just below the year. That single letter tells us it was made at the Denver Mint. At first glance, it seems like nothing special. Millions were made, and many are still out there today. But as with many collectible coins, the real story isn't just about how many were made. It's about timing, condition, and the unexpected details that turn an everyday penny into a collector's prize. To understand this coin, we need to step back to the early 1970s in America. The year 1973 was a time of change. The country was dealing with rising inflation, shifting politics, and big changes in everyday life. Coinage reflected that reality. Pennies were still an essential part of daily transactions, from buying a newspaper to making exact change at the grocery store. The 1973 Lincoln cent continued a design that Americans had already known for decades, honoring Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected figures in U.S. history. This design had first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1973, the Lincoln penny was already more than 60 years old in design, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The obverse, or front, of the coin shows Lincoln's right-facing portrait, dignified and calm. The reverse, or back, still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. Inside the memorial, if you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln, making it one of the few U.S. coins to show the same person on both sides. The 1973 D penny was struck by the United States Mint at its Denver facility. That small D Mint mark tells collectors exactly where it was made. In total, more than 2.5 billion pennies were produced in Denver that year. That huge number is one reason many people assume the coin has no value beyond 1 cent. But numbers alone don't tell the full story. This penny was made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That's important because just a few years later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a mostly zinc composition due to rising copper prices. That means the 1973 D penny is part of the final generation of classic copper Lincoln cents. Many collectors love these coins not only for their history but also for their solid feel and rich color compared to modern pennies in terms of design. The 1973 D Lincoln penny didn't introduce anything new. But sometimes what makes a coin special isn't a redesign. It's the mistakes. Errors are where things get interesting, and this is where the 1973 D penny begins to stand out. During the minting process, coins are struck at high speed, and mistakes can happen. On some 1973 D pennies, collectors have discovered off-center strikes, where the design is pushed noticeably to one side. Others show double die errors, where parts of the design appear slightly doubled, especially in the lettering or date. These errors happened when the coin die itself was misaligned or improperly prepared. To the average person, these might look like flaws. To a collector, they can mean rarity and value. One of the most talked about errors for this year is the double die obverse. When you look closely at certain examples, you might notice doubling in the word liberty or in the numbers of the date. This doubling isn't caused by wear or damage. It's a true mint error, and verified examples can be worth far more than a standard penny. Another sought-after variety involves broad strikes, where the coin was struck without a proper retaining collar. This causes the penny to spread out wider than normal, with a flatter appearance. These coins immediately stand out when placed next to a regular penny. So why is the 1973 D penny considered valuable if so many were made? The answer is condition. While billions were produced, very few have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most 1973 pennies were heavily used. They went through cash registers, pockets, and jars for decades. Finding one today with full original luster, sharp details, and no major marks is surprisingly difficult. Collectors use grading systems to evaluate coins, ranging from heavily worn to mint state. A 1973 penny in average circulated condition might be worth just 1 or 2 cents. But a coin graded in high mint state, especially MS-67 or higher, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. That dramatic jump in value is what keeps collectors searching. There have been real auction results that prove this point. High-grade examples of the 1973 Lincoln penny have sold for impressive sums when certified by professional grading services. Coins with verified errors have fetched even higher prices. In some cases, collectors have paid several $1,000s for a single penny, all because it survived in exceptional condition or displayed a rare mint error. This leads to an important question. How do you know if you have a real, valuable 1973 penny and not just a common one? The first step is to check the date and mint mark. Look for the year 1973 and a small D below it. Next, examine the coin under good lighting. Look closely at the lettering and numbers. Do they appear doubled or unusually thick? Is the strike centered, or does it look off? Weight can also be a clue. A genuine 1973 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. Significant differences might indicate damage or tampering. Magnification helps, but it's also important to avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can destroy a coin's value instantly, even if it's rare. Counterfeit pennies do exist, though they're less common for this year. Some altered coins have mint marks added later or dates changed to fool collectors. This is why serious collectors rely on professional grading services. These experts authenticate, grade, and seal coins in protective holders, giving buyers confidence in what they're purchasing. There are also some fun and surprising facts about the 1973 penny. For example, many people don't realize that copper prices today sometimes exceed the face value of older pennies. While melting pennies is illegal, it highlights just how different these older coins are from modern ones. Another interesting detail is that kids in the 1970s often collected pennies by date and mint mark in blue folders, and many 1973 pennies were pulled from circulation early for those collections. Ironically, some of those childhood collections are now being rediscovered by families decades later. Collectors today love the 1973 Lincoln penny because it sits at the crossroads of old and new. It's old enough to be copper, yet modern enough that many people remember using it in daily life. It's a coin that feels familiar, which makes its hidden value even more exciting. It reminds collectors that rarity isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about survival. This penny also appeals to beginners. It's affordable in lower grades, easy to identify, and widely available. Yet it still offers the thrill of the hunt. Anyone can check their change, open an old jar, or look through inherited collections and hope to find a high-grade example or a rare error. As we come to the end of this story, the 1973 Lincoln penny leaves us with an important reminder. History isn't always locked away in museums or hidden in vaults. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in a drawer, a jar, or a pocket, waiting to be noticed. The next time you see a simple brown penny dated 1973 with a small D beneath the year, take a moment to look closer. That ordinary coin might just be an extraordinary survivor, carrying a story, a history, and a value far greater than 1 cent. Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, a coin so ordinary that most people pass it by every day, yet so unique that collectors would pay hundreds, sometimes thousands, just to own it. Today, we're talking about one of those rare finds, the 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. On the surface, it might look like any other penny, but beneath its copper-colored surface lies a story that can intrigue anyone, whether you're a casual coin collector or just someone curious about hidden treasures in your pocket change. The 1989 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents, which have been a staple of American coinage since 1909. Created to honor Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, the Lincoln cent was designed by Victor David Brenner. For decades, the penny has served as the smallest unit of currency in America, a coin that passes through countless hands, yet occasionally, a few stand out as rare and highly collectible. The year 1989 was not particularly unusual in American coinage. The economy was stable, and coins were being produced in massive quantities at multiple mints. Most pennies that year were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins produced in Philadelphia generally had no mint mark, while those from Denver carried a D mark. But the 1989 no-mint mark penny has caught the attention of collectors for a few surprising reasons. This coin is made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a formula that had been standard since 1982. Before that, pennies were mostly made of solid copper. The shift to copper-plated zinc was intended to save money and resources, but it also introduced subtle differences in weight, color, and sound. For those paying attention, these details can make all the difference in spotting a rare coin. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has endured for over a century, while the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a detail added in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. What makes the 1989 no-mint mark penny stand out is its rarity and certain production quirks. Although millions were minted, some coins emerged with unusual characteristics, such as die cracks, double dies, or off-center strikes. These anomalies are not just minor flaws. They are what make a coin collectible. Coins with these errors can command significant premiums because they are essentially one of a kind. Unlike standard pennies, which are everywhere, these errors are limited in number, giving them an almost exclusive appeal. Collectors have been known to pay a premium for 1989 no-mint mark pennies with distinct errors or exceptionally high grades. For example, a 1989 penny with a noticeable die crack or doubling can sell for anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on its condition. Even ordinary 1989 no-mint mark pennies in uncirculated condition have value above their face value because collectors look for pristine examples to complete their sets. Auction records show that coins graded as MS65 or higher, essentially perfect condition coins, can fetch prices in the higher hundreds, sometimes approaching $1,000 when combined with a notable error. Identifying a real 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is relatively straightforward if you know what to look for. The first thing is the mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. A genuine Philadelphia strike will have no D or S on the obverse side. Next, inspect the edges and surfaces. Authentic pennies from 1989 have a smooth, even rim and consistent copper coloring. Look closely for anomalies like doubling on the letters, off-center strikes, or unusual scratches from the minting process. These are indicators of potential collectible value. Beware of polished or altered coins, as these can artificially inflate appearance but reduce authenticity and value. Using a magnifying glass or a coin loop can help you spot the fine details that separate a valuable coin from a common one. There are some fun and surprising facts about the 1989 Lincoln penny that make it even more fascinating. For one, 1989 was the last year before the U.S. Mint started experimenting more seriously with coin designs and finishes for collector sets. It's also interesting to note that while pennies are often dismissed as nearly worthless in everyday transactions, coins from this era can carry historical significance. They represent a moment in time when America was transitioning economically and technologically, and these coins were literally in circulation as people's daily lives changed. Some collectors even enjoy hunting for these pennies in change, adding a treasure hunting element to a simple task like buying a cup of coffee or checking out at a grocery store. Collectors love the 1989 no-mint mark penny not just because of potential monetary value, but because it tells a story. Every scratch, every subtle imperfection, and every perfectly preserved example carries a piece of history. Owning such a coin is like holding a small connection to the past, to a year when George H.W. Bush was president and the Berlin Wall was on the verge of falling. It's tangible history, and for many collectors, that emotional connection is just as valuable as any price tag. Some enthusiasts also enjoy completing sets of Lincoln cents from Philadelphia without mint marks, which adds a sense of accomplishment to the hunt. Even if you don't plan to buy or sell coins, simply knowing about the 1989 no-mint mark penny can change the way you look at your loose change. That ordinary coin in your pocket could be hiding a story, a tiny relic of American history that has survived decades of hands, wallets, and cash registers. For some, the thrill comes from spotting a potential rarity in a jar of pennies at a store or discovering one tucked away in an old coin collection. In the end, the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes, it's hidden in the details, in the rare mistakes, the unblemished surfaces, and the history embedded in copper and zinc. The next time you find yourself holding a penny, take a moment to look closely. You might just be holding more than a penny. You could be holding a small piece of American history, a collectible gem, and a conversation starter all in one. So the next time you reach for a drink or pay for a snack, glance at your change. Among the ordinary coins, there might be a 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, quietly waiting to reveal its story, its rarity, and perhaps even a bit of hidden value. Keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive, because history often comes in the smallest, most unexpected packages. That simple penny in your hand could hold secrets worth far more than you ever imagined. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys stories about ordinary objects that turn out to be extraordinary, the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny offers a perfect example of how history, rarity, and human fascination converge in the smallest of forms. Its copper surface tells a story of the late 1980s, a decade of change, and its imperfections whisper of the rare beauty that can be found in the most mundane places. In every detail, there is a lesson about observation, patience, and the thrill of discovery. And that is what makes a coin like this more than just money. It makes it a treasure. Next time you handle a penny, take a moment to consider what it might hold. Could it be ordinary, or could it be a 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? A rare link to the past and a prized find for the future? The answer could be closer than you think. Hidden among the coins in your pocket, in your drawer, or waiting in an old collection. And that is the magic of coins. Tiny, everyday objects with the power to surprise, to educate, and to capture our imagination in ways we never expect. Even though it's easy to overlook, the 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark serves as a reminder that value often hides in plain sight. It challenges us to look closer, to question the ordinary, and to appreciate the stories embedded in objects that we might otherwise dismiss. For collectors and enthusiasts, it offers the thrill of discovery and the satisfaction of connecting with history, while for casual observers, it sparks curiosity and a sense of wonder. Every coin has a tale, but some, like the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, are quietly extraordinary, waiting for someone to notice. And so, whether you're examining a coin under a magnifying glass, hunting through change at a coffee shop, or simply learning about history through the objects that surround us, remember this: even the smallest penny can carry the biggest stories. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that in the world of coins, ordinary is often just the surface, and extraordinary is just waiting to be found. Keep looking, keep wondering, and maybe your next pocket change will surprise you in ways you never imagined. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet it could be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. That's exactly what makes the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so fascinating. It's one of those coins that quietly sits in drawers, wallets, and piggy banks across the country, unnoticed, until someone discovers its hidden story and value. Today, we're diving deep into this coin, its history, its secrets, and why collectors can't get enough of it. The 1991 Lincoln penny is part of a series that stretches back over a century. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, created to honor Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. By 1991, the Lincoln penny had become a familiar sight in everyday life, but that doesn't mean every penny was the same. Some carried subtle differences that made them rare or even highly collectible. The 1991 no-mint mark penny is one of those examples. While millions of pennies were produced that year, most of them came from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, each identified by their mint marks. The absence of a mint mark can sometimes signal a special edition, a lower mintage, or a coin produced under unusual circumstances. For collectors, that small detail can make all the difference. The story of the 1991 penny is rooted in American history and the everyday mechanics of the U.S. Mint. In 1991, the U.S. economy was navigating a mild recession, but the demand for coins remained steady. The Lincoln cent was made primarily of copper-plated zinc by that time, a change that had been introduced in 1982 to reduce production costs. Each penny weighed just under 3 grams and measured 19 millimeters across. Its iconic design had remained largely the same for decades. The profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a tribute that had been standard since 1959. Yet, even with a familiar look, The 1991 penny holds unique features that set it apart from countless others. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1991 no-mint mark penny is its design and composition. Unlike older pennies that were almost entirely copper, this coin is made of a zinc core covered by a thin copper layer that makes it lighter and, in some cases, more prone to damage over time. However, it's precisely this combination that has allowed some 1991 pennies to develop distinctive characteristics. For example, certain coins from this year have striking luster or a sharpness in their strike that stands out to collectors. Others exhibit minor errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or unusual edge marks that can significantly increase their value. These variations are subtle and require a keen eye to spot, but they are what make the coin not just a piece of currency, but a collectible treasure. So why is this penny considered rare or valuable? The answer lies in its scarcity and condition. While billions of Lincoln pennies were minted across different years, not every coin survived in pristine form. Many were spent, scratched, or damaged. The 1991 no-mint mark penny, particularly in uncirculated condition, is harder to find than many might think. Collectors prize coins with sharp details, no wear, and strong coloration. In some cases, a 1991 penny in perfect condition can command a premium in the collector market, sometimes reaching prices far beyond its face value. What's more, certain error versions of this coin, like double die obverse or repunched mint marks, are extremely rare, occasionally fetching several $100s at auction. There are real-world examples that highlight just how sought after this penny can be. In online auctions and coin shows, uncirculated 1991 no-mint mark pennies have sold for between $50 and $150, depending on condition and eye appeal. Exceptional examples with unusual errors or brilliant uncirculated surfaces have crossed the $300 mark. While these numbers might seem modest compared to rare coins from the early 20th century, it's important to remember that we're talking about a coin that many people have overlooked, a coin that could have been sitting quietly in a jar for decades. The thrill for collectors is in the discovery, the moment they realize a coin they thought was ordinary is anything but. Identifying a genuine 1991 no-mint mark penny is not difficult, but it does require attention to detail. First, look at the obverse of the coin. Lincoln's profile should be clear and well-defined, with sharp lines around his beard, coat, and the date. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial should show fine details of the columns and steps. The coin's color and weight can also give clues. It should feel lighter than the older, solid copper pennies from before 1982. For error or premium versions, subtle differences, like doubled letters, unusual strikes, or raised edges, can be spotted with a magnifying glass or loupe. Avoid coins that look artificially polished or altered, as these are often attempts to simulate rarity. A trusted dealer or professional grading service can help confirm authenticity and condition, providing peace of mind for collectors. There are some surprising and fun facts about the 1991 Lincoln penny that make it even more interesting. Unlike many coins in circulation, this penny represents a transitional era in U.S. coinage. It was part of the move from copper-heavy coins to copper-plated zinc, a change that reflected economic pressures and advances in minting technology. Some 1991 pennies also carry what are known as die varieties, slight differences in the engraved dies used at the mint, meaning no two coins are exactly alike. For many collectors, these tiny variations are as fascinating as owning an ancient coin. They offer a snapshot of the minting process and the human element involved in producing millions of coins every year. Collectors love the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny today not just for its potential value, but for the story it tells. It's a piece of modern history that connects everyday life with the traditions of coin collecting. There's a satisfaction in holding a coin that survived decades in circulation, in jars, wallets, or coin rolls, and realizing it's now a collectible with its own unique traits. This penny appeals to both new collectors and seasoned numismatists because it's accessible yet special, familiar yet full of hidden surprises. For someone starting a collection, it's a perfect example of how ordinary coins can become extraordinary treasures. The allure of the 1991 penny also comes from the thrill of the hunt. Many collectors enjoy searching through pocket change, coin rolls, and estate collections, hoping to uncover that one penny that stands out. It's that moment of discovery, the shine, the sharp details, the absence of a mint mark, that sparks excitement. Some collectors even compare it to finding a needle in a haystack, and the satisfaction of identifying a rare coin that others have overlooked is part of the enduring appeal. This penny may not have the centuries-old history of early Lincoln cents, but it has a story of survival, design, and subtle rarity that captivates enthusiasts today. Even if you're not a serious collector, the 1991 no-mint mark penny is worth noticing. It's a reminder that value can hide in the most ordinary places, that a simple coin in your pocket or on your dresser can carry history, art, and intrigue. The next time you handle a Lincoln penny, take a moment to look closely. Check the date, the mint mark, the condition. You might be surprised at what you find. That quiet copper disc could tell a story far greater than its humble appearance suggests. So, whether you're a coin collector, a history enthusiast, or someone who simply enjoys discovering hidden treasures, the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny offers a unique connection to the past and a chance to explore the fascinating world of numismatics. It shows how even the most familiar objects can hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. And perhaps the next time you open a jar of pennies, one of these small, unassuming coins will capture your attention, sparking curiosity and maybe even revealing a hidden value you never expected. The story of this penny is ongoing, and who knows, the next extraordinary find might be sitting quietly in your own hands. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, a coin that most people pass by every day without a second thought. But this isn't just any penny. This is a 1995 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors across the United States. At first glance, it may seem like a common piece of change, but hidden in its small, coppery frame lies a story that's anything but ordinary. In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover what makes this coin special, why collectors are so fascinated by it, and how a seemingly ordinary penny can be worth far more than its face value. The 1995 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny has carried Lincoln's profile for over a century, becoming one of the most recognizable coins in American history. The 1995 edition is no exception. On the obverse, you'll find Lincoln's profile facing right, his solemn expression and finely detailed features as striking today as they were decades ago. The reverse, depending on the exact design variant, features the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and history. For most everyday Americans, this coin was just part of pocket change, bought with groceries, parking meters, and vending machines. But in the quiet corners of coin collecting, certain 1995 pennies quietly started to stand out. To understand why this coin has caught the eyes of collectors, we need to look at the year it was minted. 1995 was a time of transition for the United States Mint. Coin production was high, but the mint was also experimenting with various finishes, metal compositions, and sometimes even faced minor production errors. While the vast majority of 1995 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the no-mint mark coins, indicating Philadelphia, sometimes hold subtle differences that make them special. These differences can range from tiny die errors to slight variations in color or texture. For casual coin users, these details go unnoticed. For collectors, they can mean the difference between a common coin and a highly sought-after piece. The 1995 Lincoln penny was primarily made of a copper-plated zinc composition, a change that had been implemented in 1982 to reduce production costs. Each penny contains 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, giving it that familiar reddish-gold hue. This composition is part of what gives the coin its durability but also contributes to some unique characteristics over time. Unlike earlier pennies, the modern copper-plated zinc can develop a patina or even show signs of zinc pest, a phenomenon where the zinc core begins to corrode under certain conditions. While not common, this makes well-preserved 1995 pennies particularly attractive to collectors who prize coins in pristine condition. The design of the coin itself is simple but iconic. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile is accompanied by the words, "In God we trust," above, and "Liberty" to the side. Below, the date reads 1995, sometimes without a mint mark. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial sits in fine detail, with the words United States of America and 1 cent framing it. Certain versions of this coin, particularly those with minor production errors, can fetch notable attention. Common errors include double dies, where the image appears slightly duplicated, or off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or shifted. These errors are rare enough to make a standard-looking 1995 penny suddenly very interesting to collectors. So why is the 1995 no-mint mark penny rare or valuable? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity and condition. While millions of pennies were produced in 1995, only a small fraction have survived in uncirculated, pristine condition. Many pennies from this era were spent quickly, exposed to pockets, wallets, and the everyday wear of circulation. Those that remained untouched, perfectly round, with crisp details and no discoloration, are now highly prized. For collectors, the appeal is both historical and aesthetic. Holding a coin like this is like holding a tiny piece of the past, perfectly preserved from the moment it left the mint. Real-world auction examples show just how collectors value these coins. A 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in circulated condition might only be worth a few cents to $1, reflecting its status as a common coin. But in uncirculated or proof condition, the value can rise significantly. Coins graded by professional services, showing sharp details and flawless surfaces, can sell for several tens of dollars or more. In rare cases where minor errors or unique striking anomalies are present, the price can climb even higher. Collectors are always on the lookout for these subtle variations because they transform an otherwise ordinary penny into a collector's treasure. If you're wondering how to identify a real 1995 no-mint mark penny versus a fake, the key is detail and weight. Genuine coins will have consistent weight and metal composition, 2.5 grams of copper-plated zinc. The edges should be smooth, with no unusual seams or discoloration. The date and lettering should be sharp and consistent with other pennies from that year. Be wary of coins that look too perfect, especially if sold online at a steep discount. Professional coin grading services can verify authenticity and condition, providing collectors with confidence when buying or selling. There are also some fun and surprising details about the 1995 penny. For instance, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is so finely engraved that, with magnification, you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. It's a small detail that few people notice, but it's a charming nod to the sculptural artistry of coin design. Another interesting fact is that pennies from this era sometimes develop a reddish or brownish patina over time, giving each coin a unique appearance. Some collectors even refer to certain color variations as cherry red or wheat penny-like, even though they belong to the modern series. These small, almost invisible differences can make one coin more desirable than another. Collectors love the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny today because it represents a snapshot of history, a tangible connection to everyday life in the mid-1990s. Unlike older coins from the 1930s or 1940s, these pennies are still within reach for many hobbyists. They're affordable, familiar, and yet, with the right condition or error, they can become highly prized. Collectors appreciate the blend of accessibility and potential value, making the 1995 penny a perfect addition to any collection. Its story is quiet but compelling, a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can carry hidden significance. As we look at this humble coin, it's easy to forget that pennies like the 1995 Lincoln were never meant to be rare. They were everyday currency, designed to circulate, to be spent, and to vanish from view. Yet here we are, decades later, uncovering the stories behind them, examining tiny details, and imagining the hands that once carried them. The next time you come across a 1995 penny, take a closer look. Check for its condition, notice the details in Lincoln's profile, and consider the journey this small coin has taken. Who knows, what seems ordinary in your pocket today could be a treasure for tomorrow. Even in a world dominated by digital payments and credit cards, these little coins remind us that history can fit in the palm of your hand. The 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than metal and date. It's a bridge to the past, a collector's delight, and a reminder that curiosity can turn the simplest objects into stories worth telling. Keep your eyes open, Because sometimes the rarest treasures aren't hidden in vaults or museums. They're right under our noses, quietly waiting to be discovered. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary, so familiar in your pocket change, that it passes unnoticed every day. Now imagine that same coin could be hiding a secret worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're going to dive into one of America's most intriguing modern pennies, the 2006 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, and uncover why it's caught the attention of collectors across the country. From its history to its unique features and rare errors, this penny might just change the way you look at the coins in your wallet. The 2006 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of pennies honoring Abraham Lincoln, a series that first began in 1909, the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Each penny carries his profile on the obverse side, and the reverse has undergone several redesigns over the years. The D Mint mark on this coin indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's primary facilities. While it may look like any other penny at first glance, the 2006 D has elements that make it fascinating for collectors. The year 2006 was a time when the Lincoln penny continued to be made mostly from copper-plated zinc, a shift that began in 1982. Before that, pennies were mostly solid copper, but rising copper prices led the mint to adapt. This makes the 2006 D penny primarily zinc, with a thin layer of copper on the outside, giving it that familiar penny color. It's lightweight, at just over 2.5 grams, and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. These may seem like small details, but for collectors, they are essential in identifying genuine coins and spotting anomalies. The design of the 2006 D penny is a continuation of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which first appeared in 1959. The obverse still features Abraham Lincoln's profile, facing right, designed by Victor David Brenner. You'll notice the words "In God We Trust" along the top edge, "Liberty" to the left of Lincoln, and the year and mint mark to the right. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial sits proudly, with tiny details like the columns and the statue of Lincoln inside, visible only upon closer inspection. It's these small elements that often give collectors clues to rare varieties and errors. What makes the 2006 D Lincoln penny especially intriguing are the subtle errors that occasionally appear. Some coins have what's called a doubled die, where parts of the design, such as the date or letters, appear doubled. Others may have a missing or faint mint mark, or even slight die cracks that create raised lines across the coin. While most of these errors are minor and don't affect the coin's ability to be used as currency, they can significantly increase its value to collectors. A coin that might be worth 1 cent in your pocket could be valued at hundreds of dollars if it has one of these rare anomalies. Speaking of value, let's explore why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for the 2006 D penny in certain conditions. A standard 2006 D penny in circulation is worth, as expected, 1 cent. But uncirculated coins, those that have never been spent and show no wear, are more appealing. Graded coins, especially those with errors like double dies, can fetch prices from $50 to several $100s. There have even been auction examples where a high-grade 2006 D penny with a rare error sold for over $500. The market is always evolving, but the underlying principle remains: rarity and condition drive value. Identifying a genuine 2006 D penny is fairly straightforward, but for error coins, it requires a keen eye. First, check the mint mark. The D should be clear and well-defined. Look closely at the date and letters for any doubling, misalignment, or irregularities. Inspect the edges for any unusual bumps or raised lines. Compare your coin with standard examples, and when in doubt, consider professional grading. This ensures that your coin is authentic and accurately assessed, which is crucial for collectors looking to buy or sell high-value examples. There are some fun facts about the 2006 D penny that many people might not know. For instance, while most pennies are mass-produced by the millions, the mint still uses hand inspection for some coins to catch errors before they enter circulation. Even a small die crack, often dismissed as a flaw, can become highly sought after by collectors. The Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse is so detailed that under magnification, you can see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a hidden feature many casual observers never notice. And although the 2006 penny seems recent, Its potential for rare errors makes it a modern coin with historical appeal. Collectors love this coin today for several reasons. Its modern composition allows for sharper details, making errors easier to spot than on older, worn pennies. Its place in the ongoing Lincoln series gives it a connection to one of America's most iconic presidents. And perhaps most importantly, it represents the thrill of discovery. Finding a 2006 D penny with a double die or unusual mint mark feels like uncovering a secret, a small treasure hidden in plain sight. This excitement, combined with the potential financial value, keeps collectors constantly searching through rolls, jars, and even pocket change. The 2006 D Lincoln penny reminds us that even the most ordinary coins can hold extraordinary stories. From its design and composition to rare errors and auction records, this coin captures a blend of history, artistry, and chance. So next time you glance at a penny on the sidewalk, in your change, or tucked away in a jar at home, take a closer look. That seemingly simple coin might just be hiding a story you never imagined, waiting for you to discover it in the end. The 2006 D penny isn't just a piece of copper-plated zinc. It's a connection to history, a challenge to collectors, and a symbol of the surprises that can be found in everyday objects. The next time you pick up a Lincoln penny, ask yourself, could this be the one with a secret that turns a simple coin into something priceless? Keep looking, because the story of this penny is far from over, and who knows what hidden treasures are waiting in your own pocket change. Collectors will continue to seek it, historians will admire it, and everyday people like you might stumble upon a coin that could change everything. The 2006 D Lincoln penny proves that even the most familiar objects can hold secrets, and that curiosity, patience, and a keen eye can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Keep searching, because every penny has a story, and some stories are worth more than you might ever imagine. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people pass by every day without a second thought. Yet this small piece of copper could be hiding a story that stretches back over a century. Today, we're diving into one of America's most familiar coins, but with a twist. The 2007 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is not just any penny. It has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and anyone curious about the hidden value in everyday objects. Stay with me, because what seems ordinary at first glance may be far more fascinating than you ever expected. The Lincoln penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, has been a staple of American currency since 1909. The 2007 D Mint Mark version is a modern example, but even modern coins can hold surprises. Minted in Denver, hence the D mark, this penny is a testament to both American history and the ongoing craft of coin making. Though most 2007 pennies circulate quietly in wallets and jars, some carry small quirks or features that make them stand out in the eyes of collectors. But before we get to that, let's explore why this coin exists in the first place. In 2007, the United States Mint continued producing Lincoln pennies as part of the long-standing series honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln was chosen for the penny over a century ago, marking the first time a real person appeared on circulating American coinage. By 2007, his profile had become instantly recognizable, a symbol of honesty, leadership, and history captured in metal. The coin itself was produced to meet everyday monetary needs, but also to maintain the tradition of connecting currency to the country's heritage. Millions of these pennies were minted, making them a common sight, but as we'll see, even common coins can hold hidden stories. What makes the 2007 D Lincoln penny visually distinctive? On the front, or obverse, it features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, modeled after the original design by Victor David Brenner. His solemn face looks to the right, his beard finely detailed, and the words "In God We Trust" arch above his head. Below, the year 2007 is stamped, with the small d, to indicate it came from the Denver Mint. Turn the coin over, and you see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, stretching across the reverse side. The detail is crisp, from the steps leading up to the monument to the tiny figures of Lincoln inside. The 2007 D penny is composed primarily of zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper. This combination gives it the classic reddish-brown color of pennies, while keeping production costs lower than a pure copper coin. The choice of materials also affects how the coin ages. Over time, the copper layer may wear down, revealing the silver-gray zinc beneath, and collectors often look for coins with pristine copper surfaces. In addition to material, subtle variations in the minting process can create unique coins. Sometimes, a penny may show doubling on the date or lettering, a small off-center strike, or a missing mint mark. These anomalies are what often make a coin more interesting to collectors. Now, you may be wondering, why would anyone consider a 2007 penny rare? After all, millions were made. The rarity isn't in the sheer number produced, but in the small errors or unique conditions that occur during minting. For example, a few 2007 pennies have been found with double die errors, meaning the design elements appear slightly doubled when magnified. Others may show die cracks, where tiny fissures in the minting die left lines on the coin's surface. These imperfections are unintentional, but they transform a regular penny into a collectible piece. Even collectors who specialize in modern coins know that finding one of these errors can be thrilling, because it turns a common coin into a rare find. Real-world examples show that these pennies can indeed carry extra value. A standard 2007 penny is worth, of course, 1 cent in everyday transactions. But a 2007 penny with a double die or a prominent minting error has been known to sell in auctions for anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on the rarity and condition. Some exceptional specimens, especially those graded by professional coin grading services as being in mint condition, can fetch even higher prices. Collectors often pay a premium for coins that are crisp, uncirculated, and display an error that sets them apart from the millions of others. It's a fascinating reminder that even coins made last year can become sought-after treasures. Identifying a real 2007 Lincoln penny is simpler than you might think, but it requires attention to detail. First, check the mint mark. The Denver mint mark, a small D under the year on the obverse side, should be clear and sharply struck. Examine the date and letters carefully. Any unusual doubling, smudging, or irregular spacing could indicate a valuable error. The color of the penny also tells a story. A bright, reddish copper surface is more desirable than a worn or tarnished one, though even circulated pennies can carry error value. When in doubt, collectors often consult a professional coin grading service to confirm authenticity and assess the coin's condition, ensuring that what they have is genuine and valuable. Beyond the technical details, there are some fun and surprising facts about the 2007 penny. For instance, despite being over a century old in concept, the Lincoln penny continues to be the longest-running design in U.S. coin history. Abraham Lincoln is the only president to have appeared on a coin during his centennial commemoration and remains a symbol recognized worldwide. The 2007 penny also represents a transitional era, as it comes from a period when the U.S. Mint had fully shifted to zinc-based pennies, marking a departure from the mostly copper coins of previous decades. This small change in composition affected everything from the coin's weight to how it ages over time. Collectors love the 2007 Lincoln penny today not just for its design, but for the challenge it presents. Finding a coin in perfect condition, spotting a subtle error, and understanding its history all combine to make collecting rewarding. Unlike older pennies, which can be rare due to scarcity, modern coins like this offer a more accessible entry point for new collectors. The thrill comes from observation and discovery, from holding a small piece of history in your hand, and knowing that something as ordinary as a penny can carry a story worth preserving. So, the next time you glance at a penny in your pocket or on the sidewalk, take a closer look. It might just be the 2007 Lincoln penny, unassuming at first glance, yet quietly holding a history, a design story, and the potential for a rare error that makes it remarkable. Who would have thought that a coin minted just a few years ago could hold secrets that spark excitement among collectors and historians alike? The 2007 penny reminds us that treasure often hides in plain sight, and sometimes, the smallest objects carry the biggest stories. The world of coin collecting teaches patience, observation, and appreciation for detail. Every scratch, every mark, and every minting anomaly tells a story about the people and processes behind the coins we use every day. With the 2007 Lincoln penny, we are reminded that history is not only in museums and textbooks. It's also in our pockets, waiting to be discovered. Could the coin you hold today be more than just currency? It might just be a piece of history, a collectible gem, or a hidden treasure waiting for the right eye to notice it. In the end, the 2007 Lincoln penny isn't just a small piece of metal. It's a link to Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of American history, and a reminder that even the ordinary can become extraordinary. Whether you're a casual observer, a budding collector, or someone who loves the thrill of discovery, this penny has something to offer. Keep an eye out, examine the details, and remember that even the most common objects can hold stories that captivate, surprise, and inspire. Who knows? The next 2007 penny you find could be more than just a coin. It could be the start of your own journey into the fascinating world of numismatics. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary, yet it could hide a story that most people overlook. A coin that's just a few years old, but for collectors, it sparks curiosity, excitement, and sometimes even surprise when its true value is revealed. Today, we're diving into one of those intriguing coins, the 2014 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny, but as we'll uncover, there's more to this small piece of copper and zinc than meets the eye. The 2014 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Over a century later, the design has evolved but retained its familiar charm. The obverse, or front side, features a portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse showcases the Union Shield, symbolizing national unity. In 2014, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, and most of them were circulated with either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. However, a small number were released with no mint mark at all, which instantly makes them a point of interest for collectors. The story of the 2014 Lincoln penny begins with its production. Unlike coins that were made a century ago, these are modern, yet they carry subtle quirks that make some examples stand out. In 2014, the United States Mint was continuing to supply coins to meet everyday circulation needs. But even in this modern era, slight anomalies can occur during production. These variations, though minor, can transform a common coin into something worth a second glance point. One of the most striking features of the 2014 Lincoln penny is its composition. Unlike the older copper pennies minted before 1982, the 2014 version is primarily zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper. This combination gives the coin its familiar reddish-brown appearance while keeping production costs low. The Union Shield on the reverse is finely detailed, with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, crossed by a horizontal bar inscribed with E pluribus unum. The design itself is modern yet rooted in history, a nod to Lincoln's legacy and the enduring symbol of unity it represents. What makes the 2014 penny with no mint mark special is subtle but significant. Most coins today are stamped with the location of the mint to track production and authenticity. A missing mint mark can result from an error at the Philadelphia Mint, where no mark is required, or from an unusual handling during production. These no mint mark coins are relatively rare compared to the vast numbers produced, and for collectors, rarity often translates to interest. Even in a coin as recent as 2014 beyond the mint mark, some 2014 pennies display other intriguing features. Certain examples may have doubling on the date, slight die cracks, or minor off-center strikes. These imperfections are natural in coin production, but when combined with a missing mint mark, they can make a coin highly desirable for specialized collectors. It's important to note, though, that not every 2014 penny without a mint mark will carry a high monetary value. Condition, clarity of the design, and any additional anomalies all play a role in determining a coin's worth in terms of real-world value. These coins have started to attract attention in online auctions and private sales. While most circulated 2014 pennies remain at face value, examples in mint condition with no mint mark have been known to sell for several dollars, a small but notable premium over a standard penny. For collectors just beginning to explore modern Lincoln cents, this coin represents an accessible entry point into coin collecting without requiring decades of storage or investment in rare, historic coins. Identifying an authentic 2014 no mint mark penny is surprisingly straightforward. Start by examining the obverse, ensuring the date is clearly visible and that the coin matches the standard Lincoln portrait. On the reverse, check the Union Shield design for clean, sharp lines. The key feature is the absence of any mint mark near the date. While some counterfeit or altered coins exist, most modern coins are carefully tracked, and reputable collectors or grading services can verify authenticity quickly. Using a magnifying glass to check for inconsistencies in the lettering or metal can also help confirm that you have a genuine no-mint mark penny. Collectors and enthusiasts love to uncover small surprises in everyday coins, and the 2014 Lincoln penny offers several. For example, many people are fascinated to learn that modern pennies still carry symbols from America's early history. The 13 stripes on the Union Shield, the inscription E Pluribus Unum, and Lincoln's enduring portrait all connect a coin minted just a few years ago to centuries of national identity. Even subtle production anomalies give these coins personality, telling a story of how mass-produced items can still hold unique traits. Another fun detail is the sheer volume of coins minted each year. In 2014 alone, billions of pennies were struck. Amid such massive numbers, even a minor variation like a missing mint mark becomes statistically rare. It's a reminder that coins are living history, produced under complex processes where small errors can occur, and those errors can transform ordinary pieces into collector treasures. Collectors also appreciate that coins like the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny are accessible yet still offer room for discovery. Unlike older, expensive pennies from the early 20th century, a 2014 coin can be found in change, purchased inexpensively from dealers, or obtained from coin rolls. Its rarity is subtle, and its story is quietly intriguing. For modern collectors, it represents a connection between everyday currency and the fascinating world of numismatics, where small details can carry stories and even modest value. Today, the 2014 Lincoln penny with no mint mark captures attention because it bridges the gap between the past and the present. It reminds us that coins are not just currency, they are artifacts. Every scratch, every anomaly, every absent mint mark tells a story about production, oversight, and the journey from mint to pocket to collector. Even for those who have never collected coins before, holding such a piece can spark curiosity about the processes behind the money we use every day and the potential hidden histories in plain sight. As we wrap up, consider this. Every coin in your pocket has a story, but some are hiding more than you might think. The 2014 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a perfect example of that quiet intrigue. It's a coin that might pass unnoticed at first glance, yet it carries subtle surprises, historical connections, and a touch of rarity that makes collectors pay attention. Next time you find a penny in your change, take a closer look. You never know when a small piece of metal could open a window into history, spark curiosity, and maybe even hold a little unexpected value. The story of coins continues with each year, and perhaps your pocket holds the next small discovery waiting to be found. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, just like the ones jingling in your pocket every day. But this one could quietly be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're talking about a coin that has captured the attention of collectors across the country. The 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It's subtle, it's unassuming, yet it hides a story that most people completely overlook. What makes a penny from such a recent year suddenly so special? That's exactly what we're about to explore. The coin in question is a 2015 Lincoln cent, officially known as a 1-cent piece of the United States. On the front, or obverse, it carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been used on pennies since 1909, marking the centennial of Lincoln's birth. This design has become so iconic that even casual observers instantly recognize it. Normally, you'd expect a small letter indicating where the coin was minted, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or a P for Philadelphia. But this one is missing that tiny detail. That absence might seem minor, even invisible to the untrained eye, yet it's exactly what makes the 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so intriguing to collectors. To understand why this coin exists, we need to look briefly at its history. The year 2015 was part of a larger era of Lincoln pennies, which had already seen over a century of production. That year, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies, mostly in Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint usually stamps its coins with a small P, but in some cases, a tiny error occurred, leaving the mint mark off entirely. This could happen due to mechanical issues with the stamping press or a misalignment in the minting process. Coins with no mint mark from Philadelphia are not entirely unknown, but they are unusual, especially for such a recent year. Collectors immediately notice these anomalies because they break the expected pattern. What sets the 2015 no mint mark penny apart, beyond its missing mark, are its physical and design characteristics. Like other modern pennies, it's composed primarily of copper-plated zinc. The coin weighs just over 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters across. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln in profile, looking forward with a solemn expression, the words "In God We Trust" arcing above his head, liberty to his left, and the year 2015 to the right. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is etched in fine detail, showing the statue of Lincoln standing inside the building. Every penny from this era shares this design, but the missing mint mark quietly signals something unusual. For collectors, the absence of a mint mark is more than a curiosity. It's a signature of rarity, a tiny detail that separates a standard circulation coin from a collectible piece. So why exactly is this penny considered rare or valuable? Most pennies from 2015 were mass-produced and distributed widely. The no mint mark variety, however, is scarce. It was not officially released as a separate edition, which means only a handful exist compared to the millions of standard pennies. Scarcity drives interest in the coin collecting world, and collectors pay close attention to anomalies like this because they represent a break from the norm. Even coins that are just a few years old can become sought after if they display unusual features, and the 2015 no mint mark penny is a perfect example. Collectors and auction houses have recognized this coin's value. In online marketplaces and specialty auctions, examples of the 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny have sold for significantly higher prices than regular pennies from the same year. While a standard 2015 penny might be worth just a few cents, a no mint mark version in pristine condition can fetch anywhere from $100 to several $100s, depending on its grade and overall quality. Coins that have never been circulated, with no scratches or blemishes, are particularly prized. These sales show that even a modern coin can hold surprising value, especially when it carries an uncommon trait that the wider public rarely notices. If you're hoping to spot one of these coins yourself, knowing how to identify a real 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny is crucial. Start by looking closely at the area where the mint mark would normally appear, just above the date on the obverse side. If there is no P or D, that's the first clue. Next, examine the coin's edges and surface. Authentic coins will have consistent copper-plated zinc composition and should match the weight and diameter of standard pennies. Beware of counterfeits or altered coins, which sometimes try to mimic mint errors. Genuine examples typically come with a certification from a grading company, or they are authenticated by experienced collectors. Knowing these details ensures that when you find a coin with no mint mark, you're holding a legitimate and valuable piece rather than a modified reproduction. There are some fun and surprising details about this coin that make it even more fascinating. For instance, many collectors are amazed that a coin produced as recently as 2015 can already carry a story of rarity and intrigue. It reminds us that errors and anomalies aren't limited to coins from the 1800s or early 1900s. Even modern minting machines occasionally create unique moments that become collectible. Another interesting point is that some of these no mint mark pennies were discovered in rolls of ordinary change, meaning anyone could have stumbled upon one without realizing it. This hidden treasure aspect adds a sense of adventure to collecting, turning a simple pocket coin into a potential gem. Collectors today love this penny for a combination of reasons. It's a tangible link to the minting process itself, a small piece of history that demonstrates how even in a highly controlled system, mistakes can create opportunities. The coin's clean, familiar design appeals to those who appreciate the aesthetics of Lincoln pennies, while the rarity gives it a story and status among coin enthusiasts. Holding one of these pennies isn't just about its monetary value. It's about the thrill of owning something unusual, something that challenges expectations. The 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny embodies that combination perfectly. In the end, The 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that even everyday objects can carry hidden significance. It's a modern coin, yet it captures the same curiosity and fascination that collectors have long felt for rare coins from centuries past. Next time you dig into a pocket or a jar of change, pay close attention. You might just find an ordinary penny with an extraordinary story, a coin that seems simple at first glance, but quietly holds the power to surprise and excite. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures, and sometimes the most remarkable finds are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice the little detail that makes all the difference. Who knows, perhaps the next no-mint mark penny you encounter could be the start of your own collection, a small but meaningful piece of history that connects the past to the present in the palm of your hand. Keep your eyes open, because the next coin you hold might just be the one that sparks a story worth telling. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, one that looks ordinary at first glance, just a simple penny. But hidden in plain sight, it could be far more valuable than anyone might guess. Today, we're exploring a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors across the United States. The 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It may seem modern and common, yet for those who know the story, it is anything but ordinary at first glance. The 2016 Lincoln penny appears just like any other copper-plated zinc cent minted in recent years. It carries the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the iconic design that has been a mainstay since 1909. On the reverse, it shows the Union Shield, a symbol of strength and unity that replaced the Lincoln Memorial design back in 2010. What sets the 2016 penny apart isn't immediately obvious. It's in the details, in the story of how it was produced, and in the rare mistakes that sometimes slipped through the mint's quality control. The Lincoln penny itself has a long and fascinating history. Originally introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the penny became a staple of American currency. Over the years, it has undergone numerous changes, from the wheat ears of early pennies to the memorial design introduced in 1959, and eventually to the shield design we see today. The 2016 penny falls into this modern era, yet it has drawn attention because of a very subtle and unusual detail, the absence of a mint mark. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while those from Denver and San Francisco bear a small D or S respectively. By 2016, the Philadelphia Mint produced billions of coins, and a missing mint mark is generally not enough to make a coin extraordinary. However, collectors know that even modern pennies can hold value when errors or anomalies occur. A 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark can be more than just another coin from your pocket change if it exhibits certain unique characteristics. One of the key features of the 2016 Lincoln penny is its composition. Modern pennies are made primarily of zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper, giving them the familiar reddish-brown hue. This composition has been standard since 1982, when rising copper prices made solid copper pennies impractical. The 2016 penny maintains that copper-plated zinc construction, weighing just 2.5 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. Its obverse bears the right-facing profile of Lincoln, detailed with fine lines that capture the contours of his face and suit. The reverse displays the Union Shield with 13 vertical stripes and a horizontal bar inscribed with E pluribus unum. This imagery symbolizes the coming together of states, a fitting tribute to the enduring legacy of the nation. What makes some 2016 no-mint mark pennies particularly intriguing are the rare errors that sometimes appear. Collectors have documented instances where the mint mark was accidentally omitted or struck incorrectly, where double strikes occurred, or where die cracks created unusual patterns on the coin's surface. While not every coin with a missing mint mark will be highly valuable, these subtle anomalies are precisely what make certain coins appealing to collectors. A tiny doubling on the letters, an off-center strike, or an unusual coloration can instantly set a coin apart from the millions of others produced that year. Why is this penny considered rare or potentially valuable? The answer lies in scarcity and condition. Even though the 2016 penny was minted in large numbers, coins that show significant errors or are in pristine, uncirculated condition are far less common. Collectors prize coins that are free of scratches, wear, or discoloration, especially if they also feature a distinctive anomaly. The combination of a missing mint mark and perfect preservation can elevate a seemingly ordinary penny into a sought-after collectible. Real-world examples of value help illustrate this point. In recent years, collectors have paid notable sums for modern pennies with unique characteristics. While a standard 2016 penny might only be worth its face value, an uncirculated coin with a clear die error, an unusual strike, or a missing mint mark could sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. Online coin forums and auction houses have recorded sales of modern pennies reaching into the low hundreds, demonstrating that collectors are willing to invest in coins that stand out from the standard run. These figures may not make a penny as valuable as some historic rarities, but they prove that even modern coins can carry surprising worth. Identifying a genuine 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny requires a careful eye. First, examine the coin under a magnifying glass. Look for the absence of a mint mark below the date. Ensure that the coin's edges are consistent and that there are no signs of tampering, such as added paint or scratches that might obscure a hidden D or S. Check the details of Lincoln's profile and the Union shield. The lines should be sharp and well-defined. Pay attention to weight and diameter, since counterfeit coins or modified pennies may differ slightly from the standard specifications. Collectors also advise consulting professional grading services, which can verify authenticity and condition, providing an official assessment that can increase a coin's market value. Some fun facts make the 2016 penny even more interesting. Despite being one of the most recent coins in the Lincoln series, it has already become a favorite for certain collectors. Many modern pennies are overlooked in favor of older, historic pieces, but the 2016 coin demonstrates that even contemporary issues can be collectible. Additionally, the Union shield on the reverse of the penny carries its own hidden story. Its 13 vertical stripes represent the original colonies, while the horizontal bar symbolizes Congress. This design was created to remind Americans of the nation's unity and strength, a subtle but meaningful message etched into a small, everyday object. Collectors appreciate this penny not just for its potential financial value, but also for its connection to history and design. Holding a 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is like holding a tiny piece of the ongoing story of American currency. Each coin tells a story of craftsmanship, attention to detail, and even occasional mistakes that make it unique. Collectors enjoy the thrill of discovering these small surprises, knowing that what seems ordinary may hide something special. It is a reminder that even in the modern age, coins can captivate, educate, and inspire curiosity. Today, the 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has found a place in the hearts of collectors who value both rarity and modern history. It serves as an example of how attention to detail, condition, and subtle anomalies can transform a simple coin into a prized possession. The next time you come across a penny that looks familiar, take a closer look. You may be holding something extraordinary, something that tells a story far beyond its face value. So, the next time you sift through your change, pause for a moment. Could there be a 2016 Lincoln penny hiding among the ordinary coins in your pocket? A penny that, at first glance, seems simple, but carries the potential to surprise, intrigue, and even excite collectors who know exactly what to look for. Keep an eye out, and you may just discover that history, rarity, and value can sometimes come in the smallest of packages, tucked into the familiar copper shine of a modern penny. The story of the 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that curiosity is key, that even coins from recent years can offer moments of discovery. In a world where history often seems distant, this little coin connects the present to a long tradition of American currency, design, and the thrill of the hunt. So next time you find a penny, don't just toss it aside. Look closely, appreciate the details, and who knows, you might be holding a small treasure that's been hiding in plain sight all along.